What are your options for live classes with your students? Let's start with Zoom. Zoom.us is the web-based version of Zoom, and you can download an app for your phone and have the program loaded on your computer for different kinds of access, but for this video I'm going to stick with the online version. Many of you I know have already joined a meeting or possibly even hosted a quick meeting, and both of these options are available to you without logging in, without signing up, but I highly suggest signing up and logging in when you're using Zoom so that you have more options for the program. Either way, when you sign in or sign up, you should use Google, sign in with Google, and select your North Bronx Google account. This will link your Zoom account with your North Bronx Power account and just make it easier in general for you to use your preferred options and to schedule meetings in advance. Zoom can be also used for meetings with teachers. So in order to schedule upcoming meetings, you'll want to be in this upcoming meeting section of your Zoom account. Again, one of the perks of logging in before using Zoom. If you click schedule a new meeting, you're going to arrive at the meeting area where you can decide all of the options for your meeting. Let's call this my weekly class just as a sample. And in the description, I will just say join us live each week. This will give students information about your classes if you're going to use this weekly for classes with them, or it can just be a little information about the team that's meeting if it's more of a common planning meeting each week. When is automatically going to be populated with today's date and the next hour for a meeting. So in this case, 1:00 p.m. would be the next meeting on March 24th, 2020. Duration is going to be an hour. You can change that as needed, and time zone is pre-populated. Recurring meeting is going to be an option that a lot of you are going to want to use. So some people asked about setting up meetings that happen each week. Let's click a recurring meeting that will happen on a weekly basis. Notice you have options to make daily or monthly meetings. You get to decide how often this will happen. So is it going to be every week, every other week? You have those options as well. And now occurs on, you have checkboxes for each of the days of the week that your class will take place or your meeting will take place. You can click Monday through Friday. This also gives you the option to unclick certain days because I know some people are having different times for different classes. This is a great option for you to set up those classes and those codes way in advance. End date is going to give us a much later date. We can be ambitious and say maybe all of this will be over by April 20th, 2020. And those are your timing options for your meeting. Scrolling down, you get the option to leave a password. I'm going to unclick the meeting password because it's much easier if students and teachers have a link, they have a code, they don't need an additional obstacle to attend a meeting. However, if you find it to be an option that you would like to use or you find it to be a problem not having passwords enabled, you can always click that, generate a password, and you can even edit that password for yourself if you want to make it easier. I think that's the easiest option. Video is going to give you the default option, so as people join a meeting, the host, which is you for creating the meeting, and participants are the other people. You're basically just telling Zoom you'd like the video to be off when people join, but that option is always available to change once people are in the meeting and it is live. Audio gives you the options for how students and people can access that meeting through telephone, through computer, or in this case both, giving people the option to call in. You may find that Wi-Fi is shoddy or students may not be able to be heard as clear on their computers, so telephone is another option. Quickly, I'll go through these meeting options which are possibly interesting to you based on some of the comments and the questions that came up on the Google form. I'm thinking that they may be interesting. So enable join before host. If you allow this and click this option, that means that students or people can join before you, the hosts, are present inside of the meeting. If you unclick it, that means they have to wait for you. A nice option for some control over a live space. Mute participants upon entry is another option that you may choose to use. This makes sure that as people enter, their mics are on mute, and they'll have to do that on their own, activate their mic in order to be able to be heard. Maybe enticing for groups of students learning how to use online meeting spaces. I'll unclick that for the sample. Enable waiting room. I believe this is a chat function, but it would have a waiting room when people are present waiting for the host. These two options go hand in hand. And record the meeting automatically on the local computer. If you select that option, you won't have to click record. You won't have to go back to your meetings. They'll automatically be recorded and downloaded onto your computer once you're done. I'm going to click that option so that you see what happens after we start a sample meeting. But once I click save, I now have a lot of options to share. So notice the topic and description are as I picked. The time and dates are there. If you are a Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar or possibly Yahoo Calendar person, you can add it directly to your calendars by clicking that link. Scrolling down, you're going to get the information you really will need to share. The ID code is one that you can use to join a meeting quickly. Require meeting password. This says we did not require a meeting password for this meeting. Joining URL. This is a direct link you can send out. You can post onto your stream. You can email to your colleagues. This is basically kind of like the receipt of your meeting. Now, you can start this meeting. You can edit this meeting. But I want to show you back in my meetings, we now have all of them scheduled. So maybe I'm not ready to start my meeting yet. Maybe I'm ready to jump right in, but now everything is set up and recurring and has a code. I haven't added anybody or invited anybody yet, but they'll have access. Just so you can see what the meeting looks like and some of the basic starting controls, I can click Start My Meeting. You should get a pop-up that will ask you to open and access your Zoom.us program on your computer. Notice it just jumped at the bottom of my screen. And now the meeting is live. You can see the mute and the microphone is talking because this is being recorded currently in this meeting that I created, my weekly class. And the audio is on, but the visual is off. So I can turn the visual on and you'll see me for a quick second. Hi, and I can click it back and get rid of it. If you noticed really quickly, my icon popped up, another perk of having your account linked with your Gmail. Your account icon will pop up. So this is me if I want to be seen. If I don't, try to see it really quickly, my icon will pop up. Now, just because it's me, it doesn't stay, but I would want to share a few more options in Zoom before I switch over to Google Meet. So you can invite people once you're inside of the meeting. As you add people and as you have your account linked, different people's Zoom accounts will pop up here. You can copy the account or copy the invitation, and that will just be sent out to students. Manage participants, if I click that, you notice that there is a host on the side that says me. If I toggle over other people who were in here, I would have the option to mute. I know some people really like the option of being able to mute students or participants. And it really just makes it easier for one person to be in control of the meeting anyway. I can close this. I can also pop it out. But a few more options that some people have requested. If you click Share Screen, you'll notice Zoom gives you a few more options for what you can share. You can just share your desktop with the entire meeting. You can share a whiteboard, which will give you just a blank space. You can also connect iPhones and link those as shared to your meeting, or this is just another one of my windows. So if you don't want to share your entire desktop, you can only share one of the windows. Now I will share whiteboard very quickly just to give you an idea of the kinds of things that you can share in a meeting. You would probably share something more academic than this. However, just to get an idea, you can share a whiteboard with your group as opposed to just sharing your face. Although your face is very beautiful and I'm sure you want to always have visuals with your students, you may also decide it might be a nice option to switch over to a whiteboard sometimes, so you can teach. Stop share is just that easy. Stop video is just that easy. And what I do is end meeting when I need to end. If I'd like to keep it open because students are still discussing or working, maybe another teacher will be there, I might just leave the meeting, but I will end the meeting for all. You can quickly see that because I said or asked Zoom to record my meetings, Zoom has or is in the process of converting this meeting to a recording so it can save on my file. I will save that, and now it's available in my classroom. So back to Zoom. You can go home, back to Zoom. This will bring us back. My account will bring us back to my meetings. And remember, schedule a meeting is going to bring you to the place where you can create meetings in advance or see all of your upcoming meetings. Stay tuned. Next, we